in Hotel Istana for the Alzheimer Disease International's Asia Pacific Region Conference, the 21st one here in Hotel Istana. So what we have for you is we're going to be talking about Alzheimer's, dementia, a lot of topics that we have to cover on Health Matters. But today I have with me the CEO of CommonAge, Mr. Klaus Zimmerman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's start off with CommonAge. What is CommonAge?
Okay. CommonAge is a company we formed in 2013. It's called the Commonwealth Association for the Ageing, and it was primarily set up to do advocacy, lobbying and promote ageing policies in all the 53 Commonwealth countries. We saw that there was a gap in the Commonwealth list of countries. The Commonwealth has a primary focus on youth, which is fine because 30% of the, most people in the Commonwealth are under the age of 30, but there's also a very large ageing demographic within the Commonwealth. So we saw that as a gap in terms of what the Commonwealth had to do. So we formed this organisation to do the lobbying and advocacy.
Okay. So lobbying and advocacy, you can't just go out to countries and say, this is what we want to do, this, you need to do this and this, that. I mean, you need proof, you need research and things like that. So what type of research is CommonAge done?
Okay, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
The very first time we went and saw the Commonwealth Secretariat, she said to us, what are you talking about? Where's your evidence? Where's your numbers?
Yeah.
So we took that on board. So what we did is we went to the University of Oxford. They have a division for population ageing, and we said we'd like you to do some research for us. So they put together a proposal, which when they first showed it to us was costed at £250,000.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money, and we said, thank you very much, we don't have that sort of money. Can we do it in stages?
Okay.
So we did stage one, which was costed at £50,000, and we went to 4 UK aged care providers and said, would you put some money in? So each of the 4 put in £10,000, plus we had some money of our own. So we were able to fund the first research. So that research has now been completed, and they did a baseline summary foundation set of what the ageing demographics are in each of the 53 Commonwealth countries. So how fast is the population ageing? What are the number of ageing people? What sort of support systems do they have in each country? And that report has now been finalised, released, and is available on our webpage, free to download.
Oh, it's free to download. So people can actually know the type of demographic in their own country.
Correct.
Okay. About the research, very interestingly, you talked about the cost of this research. So for a company like CommonAge, how much of money and how do you do your fundraising? Because it is for a noble cause. It is to make people think more about the older population. But how do you get people to collaborate with you?
Yep. So basically, Andrew Larpent, who's the co-founder of this organisation with me, we have got a great network of people. So Andrew's based in the UK, I'm based in Australia. So we basically rang all of our contacts and invited them to donate some money. So we asked for a 3-year membership. For Australia, it was $5,000 per year for 3 years, and in the UK, £3,000. And so we got about 20 people on board pretty quickly, and we're now in year 4 of that, and most of them have recommitted for year 4 and year 5.
Anybody from Malaysia?
Nobody from Malaysia, but we would be very keen if someone wants to donate any money to CommonAge to take that on board. And there's another company called QCS Quality Systems in the UK who run a quality software for aged care providers. They've been a really strong supporter of CommonAge, and they've probably put in about £100,000 over the last 3 or 4 years, and are committing for the next 3 or 4 years as well.
Okay. Now, talking about research, you talked about stage 1.
Yes.
Any other plans for the other stages and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. And the next stage, interestingly, is about dementia, which of course is the theme of this conference. So we've had a talk to the Commonwealth Secretariat, and apparently they tell us that they have very good data on dementia throughout the Commonwealth. So we're currently formulating a project scope for that, and to see how much that will cost, and to see how much money we've got in our own bank, which is not a lot. And
you've got to start ringing up your friends again.
Absolutely. And then once we know what the cost of that is, we will ring all of our network people again, say, would you like to put some more money in? And so we hope to get that going in the next 3 to 4 months. The research usually will take about 18 months.
Okay.
So what we want to demonstrate to all the High Commissioners in all the 53 Commonwealth countries is this is your ageing demographic, this is how quickly or slowly the ageing population is growing, and this is the number of people that have dementia in your society. And so what we're trying to do is influence each of the countries to firstly acknowledge the statistics, the data, and of course it's up to each country on how they interpret that and what they want to do with that.
Now, very interestingly, you talked about the country needs to acknowledge it. So did you have challenges and did you have a problem with countries saying that we don't have a problem? We think that because everybody is going to go on the average age of the population, that gives a very difficult point of a starting point for you when you come in and say, but you still have an aging population.
Correct.
So how do you deal with people like that? And because CommonAge is also about influencing policy.
Correct.
So how do you deal with those types of things? Because policy change is not easy.
Correct.
And the conversation needs to start. So how do you get that going?
Okay, look, that's a really good question. A couple of years ago I went with the Australian government on a trade mission to India. I was invited as the aged care representative. And so we met lots of politicians, lots of senior bureaucrats and lots of very high officials. And when we started talking aged care, the eyes sort of glazed over a little bit. They didn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And when I said to them, look, you do have an ageing issue in this country, the standard answer was the average age of our population in India is 29 years old. We don't have an ageing issue. And so through the research that now we've been able to do, we've been able to go back to India and say, look, that is correct. You have a massive population, you've got a diverse population, you've got lots of different languages, lots of different states, and you've got a very unique country. However, what's not unique is that you have over 60 million people over the age of 65 who are ageing dramatically. And so, like in all other countries, the people over the age of 85 will double over the next 20, 30 years. And with that comes people with a higher prevalence of dementia. So through the research, we've been able to go back to them and say, look, there is an issue here.
This is the proof of that.
This is the proof of that issue. Now, of course, it's up to each country how they want to deal with that. And of course, a lot of the Commonwealth countries are not very wealthy. A lot of them are still third world countries. So the resources they have to tackling an ageing issue is quite complicated because they also have many other problems, many other health issues, infrastructure issues. So our main aim is to get ageing and dementia onto the agenda. So it's not either or, you know, you must do this or do that. It's saying, okay, I know you've got to do all of this, but if you ignore this, you do have a problem. And I'll give you another example. In South Africa, where we were supporting an aged care organisation, the one that we were supporting, they would open their doors in the morning and they would quite often find elderly women just dumped at the doorstep from the various tribes, because once the husband dies, and this is not unique to South Africa, it's quite common in the African countries, that once the husband dies, the female has no economic value and becomes a liability. So then, and there's no inheritance laws because the inheritance goes to the eldest son. And that's still the case today. This is what the research showed. So when the husband dies, the woman then has no value and becomes a liability. So then they took them to this aged care facility and they found them there. And quite often they were dead because this aged care facility was quite high in the mountains, and in the winter months, they would put her there during the night and the person would be dead in the morning. So, so again, what we're trying, and this is in South Africa, but it's not uncommon for a lot of the African countries. So this is what we're trying to show through our research, that you can't ignore these problems because people are dying as a result of either non-policies or social and cultural issues, which of course we can't change, but we need people to identify what they are, and that's what we're trying to do.